I'm Barry Meade and I'm a co-founder and director of Fireproof Games. In VR we're making Amiga Agent, which is a sort of super spy based jetpack simulator game set in a sort of mishmash of the 60s. I mean, the game is pretty much finished now. We're content complete, we're just waiting to go into testing, and it's actually a much more polished experience than it was back then. There's a lot more to do. It feels better, it runs better. It's it's really come on quite a lot since then. Well, to tell you about what's in the game, there's over 40 missions in the game. There's multiple different game modes. There's also enemy characters in the game, which are not really revealed in the demo we're showing here. And with those, there's a lot of modes based around those enemies, such as pursuit mode. We tried to get a little bit of action into the game as well, because I think people people want to see how VR can apply to proper video games and not just VR experiences. And so, as a team, we wanted to make a sort of something that was blatantly just a video game and not another VR experience. So we wanted to put in everything that a video game has, like an interesting world, an open world, a bit of action, a bit of discovery. So all of those things are wrapped into the game. It actually feels like, it reminds me of everything from Jetpack on the Spectrum all the way up to Lunar Lander on the Commodore 64, but then up to Pilot Wings on Nintendo systems. It's kind of got all of those very similar. The feel of the gameplay is very similar to all of those games, except that it's new and it's in a VR open world that the player can move around at free will, and they can choose to do all of the different missions in their own way, or they can forget the missions and just try and move through the world, try and unlock new areas to discover, and also find all of the hidden pickups. In terms of how much action to put into a VR game, we try to keep it sensitive. So you're never asking too much of the player. You can't do any wild, crazy movements. Although we have put a boost into the game for those people who do like to play it that way. But generally what you want to do is create a control system that everybody can use and that feels natural. Because the world is so real, you can't really put in control systems and methods that are very unnatural. It just doesn't work. Your body expects the game to work in a certain way, so we've kept the control system, we've kept the physics of the control system quite realistic, not semi-realistic, but realistic enough that it works as people would expect the jetpack to work. So when you hit takeoff, you start slow, but you pick up momentum as you go upwards, and the same is true when you're coming back down. You can bank and pitch and yaw, but it's just not very terrifically quickly. But of course you can look around as much as you want and as quickly as you want as well. So it's a balance, and it's different in VR than it is in any other platform. So in a lot of ways, the reason we made Amiga Agent was to learn how to do all of these things correctly, to make a game that had all of the elements we wanted, but also had a control system that made everybody comfortable, that they wouldn't think was too hectic when they first tried it. So because we made it, the game is for the Gear VR first. We made it for the Gear VR first, which is a mobile VR platform. It's much less powerful than any PC or a console would be. So because the game has to run at 60 rock solid, you have to then downgrade your graphical quality, or the details that you would put into a PC game you take out in this one, and instead we went for a very simple graphic style. At root, the reason why the graphics style is the way it is because we wanted to build an open city island on an island for the player to go around, to move around at will, and that's terrifically difficult. If you're making it on a PC game, that's hard enough anyway, but to make it for a much less powerful mobile device that has to run at 60 frames a second at very high res, like the Gear VR is, you have to design for the system as it is. So But also, it's you know, the art style is a bit of a cross between James Bond and the Jetsons. It's very 60s, but the Jetsons kind of thing works. You know, that sort of bright, colourful, but flat shaded, but very bright and vibrant game world. We thought it would really suit it, and it would sort of evoke the 60s in some way. And so yeah, that was pretty much it. That's why we did it. And plus, it looks good. You know, absolutely. If VR takes off like we expect it to take off, then yeah, we will make VR games for sure. Yeah, I can't see how we wouldn't. At the moment, VR is still experimental for everybody, and the only reason we designed and paid for and self-published this video game is because of the success of our other game. The Room allowed us to do that without needing money or anything else from anybody. We could just do it on our own. And so what the Gear VR enabled us to do was a small team to make a small game, but that has everything that VR on any of the larger platforms has as well. And so it was really nice sort of synergy there, I suppose, for us. You know, the stars aligned, and we were like, yeah, we want to make a VR game. This system allows us to do it on a small scale, so let's do it. Oh, absolutely. We'll bring it to any VR platform that it will make sense. Yeah. So we want to do it on all the major VR platforms: Morpheus, Oculus, and Vive.